Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Watchalong Q&A for a three-part docuseries called Dare to Defy. I'm very excited to be hosting today. This should be super awesome. This is all powered by Nissan, so thank you very much for the sponsorship and the opportunity. Today, what we're going to be doing, we're basically going to be watching a little bit of each episode. We have three amazing guests who are all people that are featured heavily in the show. And we're going to be just like hanging out with each of them. It'll be one guest per episode, essentially. We'll be able to ask them some questions and watch the first part of the episode with them. And it should be really awesome. I'm very excited. So first thing, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, beautiful faces behind me. But first thing that we're going to do is watch the trailer and then hop into watching the episodes themselves. So that's the plan. The whole idea of this show of Dare to Defy is to talk about accessibility and inclusivity in the world of sports. So it's a really, really interesting subject. And I've learned a lot. I watched the whole thing already. So we'll watch the trailer, yeah?
Sport is such a powerful force of bringing people together.
But is it inclusive? No.
Run to the Future is such an amazing idea. A fully, truly inclusive race. Where do you begin with that?
Hello, we're back. We're back. Our first guest is going to be Abby, who is in the very first episode. We're ready? Let's do it. Let's bring in Abby. Hello, Abby.
Hello.
How
Hi.
are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yes.
Everybody, this is Abby Evans. Would you
Hello,
like
everybody.
to tell everybody about your lovely self, who you are?
I can give it a go. Yeah, so I'm Abby. I'm 21, nearly 22 next week. Well, end of this week now, so that's kind of exciting.
Oh my goodness. Happy early
yes.
birthday.
Thank you. But yeah, so I am in the first episode of Dare to Defy. I am racing a really cool car, as hopefully you'll see in a little bit. And I have a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I don't know how many people have heard of that, but it's quite a rare condition that affects all my connective tissue. And that means I'm in a wheelchair and I also have a feeding tube. So yeah, all the good things that come along with that. But I'm just here to show everyone that whatever you have going on, especially on a day like today, which is International Day for People with Disabilities,
right.
that anything is possible.
Absolutely. Awesome. Should we watch the episode? Should we crack into it?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited to watch it.
Me too.
People will put you into boxes in life. What colour you are, what religion you are, sexuality, disability. It's so wrong.
I think true inclusivity is feeling understood and welcome and seen and feeling like you don't have to explain yourself.
Inclusion means so many different things, but also can be a smokescreen for tokenism.
Whether that's in terms of people coming from all different backgrounds and sexual persuasions.
Why are we not seeing more people participating in sport?
There've been a few barriers in my life to actually doing sport and in some circumstances actually not being able to do it, not being included.
Because when we come down to the bigger events, having 10, 20, 100, 200 places available is putting a number on an allocation.
Sport is such a powerful force of bringing people together and unifying people.
But is it inclusive? No.
I love this intro.
Me too. I was just about to say that.
It's so cool. I wonder, is this like custom music? I don't know.
Probably, right?
Surely.
When I think about this stadium, 1st September 2012, brings back lots of memories. Walking through the tunnel with 80,000 people, shouting your name and, come on, Richard, like, you've got this, was, yeah, something that I'll never forget.
There he is.
At that point, it was all about how much do I want it. And the last thing that went through my mind before it's on your marks is, don't this up. I was born with my disability. This was the card that I was dealt. Not been easy, and I've had lots of really challenging moments, but I feel they've brought me to this moment to have this platform to make that social change for the future. Sometimes sporting performances, medals, they overshadow who you are as a person. I don't want to be defined by gold medals. I'm fortunate enough that I have won those gold medals, yes, through a lot of hard work, but I don't think they define me at all. I think as somebody with a disability, you're seen as somebody that's going to take a lot. But for me, it's about giving back. So myself and Adele are going to put on an event to support those individuals that have had this trauma, these underlying barriers that have stopped them from being what they want to be.
Even though I wouldn't wish cancer on anyone, I'm really grateful for this journey that I'm on. And also somebody that now has a non-visible disability, which I am so proud to have. And it's given me a new perspective that can help me help others.
Wow! Seeing you in here, goosebumps. The name Run to the Future is wicked. How did you come up with that?
For me, I wanted something that really encapsulated what our outcome should be. It's not about the actual event, it's about the change that we want it to make.
Yeah.
And everybody that start the race will finish with hopefully a different perception on what they can and can't do in life.
Run to the Future, a fully, truly inclusive race. Where do you begin with that? Oh my gosh, like, how do you make sure that everybody is covered? Have we bitten off more than we could chew?
When I look at the Paralympics,
Spoilers,
and Paralympic
chat.
movement,
These
I think there is
two
still
people
some
are
areas
our
of
other
improvement.
guests.
Yeah.
When I thought about
It's
this
awesome.
Big
full
spoiler,
inclusive
big
event that we could put on,
Yeah.
how are we going to engage with those hard-to-reach
They're cool.
communities?
Well
Very
said,
cool.
because I
Really
think
sweet people.
I didn't realise sport was for me. I didn't really see women like me that were runners. I was a lot bigger back then. I didn't really look after myself. And I think as well, probably being part of the LGBTQ plus community, I think a lot of the time we love sport and we watch sport, but we don't always feel included.
No.
Luckily that's changing,
Yeah.
but I think that like between us, like you say, we can really make people feel like they can be a part of it and won't be judged.
And also maybe investigate and understand some of the challenges that some sports do have.
Yeah.
And see how we can implement change within our event instead of having those problems that are never really addressed.
Well said. Because one of the first questions I asked before I met you is, can I go to the toilet? Because I messed over.
Yeah.
But like little things like that make a big difference.
Being truly inclusive is going to take a lot of thinking about things for me and Richard. It's almost like ripping up sport and starting again.
There's a lot to do to make a fully inclusive event. So we've got a concept, we've got a name, and we've got a venue, but everything else logistically around that needs to be developed. I've been involved in so many other events, from 5Ks all the way up to marathons, and logistically there's so many components to that. How do we make it accessible, fully inclusive, but also accommodating for a vast amount of people, because we want obviously hundreds of people to come to our event. And also it needs to be different. It needs to be different to the events that are out there because they're clearly not working. That's why there's so much to do. So I think we need to get cracking. Running is a sport that I know so much about, but there's still so much more to learn. So it's great to then look and have some research into other sports and see what they're doing well. And I've utilised technology with my running prosthetics. I think it's important that we delve into the connection between technology and inclusion. In other sports, I utilise push-pull controls when I'm driving. I don't use the pedals in a car. How does that equate to the opportunity in motorsport? Is it possible to drive around a racing track? What I'm reading here is our technology has enabled true equality regardless of disability.
Yeah.
Something no other sport can
Spoiler,
offer.
it is
So
possible.
that'd be great to see what that looks like and what, in their perspective, equality actually is. It's really important that we can showcase what is actually possible within sport, and it's really important that I get somebody else along with me to have that experience, and maybe somebody that's passionate about motorsport. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to reach out to our team to actually put out that call to action, and we need to do it ASAP because time's of the essence.
Can we pause? Sorry, not to pause right before we get to see you, but if you're able to answer this, how did they wind up like getting in touch with you? Did you already know either of them, or?
I didn't know either of them. I knew of Richard and Adele. So I knew Richard obviously because he's like a British legend. Like he has an MBE. Yeah. He basically saved us in the 2012 Paralympics. So knew about Richard, and then obviously knew about Adele through her like DJing and being on radio and all stuff like that. But I actually got the role through someone I've met like when I was working with another TV show, and I met someone who was an access coordinator, which is another thing that's quite key in TV, which I don't think a lot of people think about, is when people have a disability or maybe some sort of need. There's always an access coordinator on the set who makes sure that our hotels are accessible, everything's accessible for us. And like kind of they scout everything out and make sure if you need a place to rest, you've got that. And I knew someone from that, and she messaged me on Instagram and was like, there's this call out for people who use hand controls, because I drive with hand controls, to be in this TV show and be a racing driver. Would you like to do it? And I was like, yes.
Obviously.
So I'm like on holiday in Europe, and I'm like filming this audition in my hotel room, like, I'm just like, so I just did it in like 10 minutes, and then I was like, let's just see if I got it, and I did, and it was awesome. But it was a long process to get it.
Oh, that's so cool. And I've never heard of an access coordinator. Is that what they're called?
Yeah. So
but now that you've
TV
explained it,
them.
It seems like a really obvious, necessary thing, right?
Yeah, so they made sure there were toilets close for Adele and her stoma, made sure that everything was easy for like Rich, so if he needed a break. And then for me, it was like having a quiet room so I could go have a rest, or like, making sure everything's accessible so I can get around. And that was really good. So yeah, that's how I got it.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, sorry.
All works out.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. We can play again.
My name's Abby. I am 21 years old and I am a wheelchair user. I have a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and it changed my life in ways I was never expecting. As a kid, one word that my friends always used to describe me as was happy. I was always happy, I was always running about, but there was always something not quite right. And when I was 14, my condition started to get rapidly worse. My digestive system started failing, and I lost the strength in my legs. When someone tells you your life is never going to be the same, it's the hardest thing to deal with, because it's like someone taking away your freedom, taking away your right to have that life that you hope to have when you're 19 years old.
Abby growing up was extremely sporty, which we remember quite fondly. She really liked playing football and she was really into cars,
Yeah.
into all that when she was younger.
We went on a go-karting track and Dad probably remembers it, but I literally didn't even touch the brakes. I just was going round lapping all my cousins.
But yeah, when she actually
True story.
couldn't stand anymore, that was a little bit of a shock to all of us.
Fearless.
I think we thought it would be temporary.
It's
and
probably
we
like
thought
6.
her ability to walk would come back, but sadly it didn't. And yeah, we all had to adjust to the new reality that things weren't ever going to be that way again. So yeah,
Which
that
we've
impacted
done
us
well.
as a lot.
We've done it well.
Yeah.
They're obviously really supportive, and they were kind of the people that said to me, like, don't just sit there and do nothing and feel sorry for yourself. Find a way to do what you want to do.
There are many things that you can still do with a condition such as Abby has, and she's living proof of that.
I've always dreamed of being a racing driver, and then when I became disabled, I thought that was completely unachievable.
Abby's a young person with lots of energy, but also a real heartwarming story that I could definitely relate to. Hi Abby, Richard Whitehead here. I've been
This
here.
was such a cool video to get.
Story, and I'd love you to be part of me investigating how we can make motorsport more inclusive. If you're up for it, I'll see you down at Donington for race day. Let's make a difference.
Well, that's really cool. I'm excited to go and a bit nervous. I don't really know what to expect.
Here today to meet Abby for her first racing experience.
You look so cool. Did you get to keep that outfit?
The advancement in
Yeah,
technology.
I have
Oh,
it.
good.
Yeah, I have it upstairs. I should have worn it.
Oh my god.
Why didn't I wear it?
Hopefully inspire and liberate the next generation of drivers taking their journey like we're doing.
I was gonna be so upset for you if you didn't get to keep it.
I did get to keep it. And the helmet you'll see in the end
Hey
part,
guys.
like the full helmet.
And also welcome from our amazing race car here.
So cool.
There's only 10 of these in the world, so
Such a
please
sick
don't
car.
break it.
We'll try.
Aaron's going to be your pro driver, your instructor for the day. He's going to be the brave one sitting next to you as you go around the track.
So I've got 13 years of car racing experience now. I'm racing British GT a few years ago and in the British Endurance Championship this year.
Definitely in safe hands then, right?
Pretty impressive.
Sure.
So I guess you're probably used to maybe a push-pull system in road cars, which obviously only let you have one hand on the steering wheel. So in a racing situation, that wouldn't be ideal. So the ones fitted in the car today allow you to have full control of the vehicle with two hands on the steering wheel at all times.
The car itself, it's a purpose-built electric racing car, carbon fibre, twin engine in a really light carbon fibre chassis. We've also had some hand control adaptations done so that you guys and some people in the future really make the most of driving a race car on a racetrack.
Ever since I've used them, it's made a massive difference to my racing.
It's fantastic, that is, isn't it?
The fact they let me drive, that's still a bit
really
insane.
inspiring, and made sure that I was learning the technique of how to drive with the hand controls.
Abby showed real
The adrenaline
talent.
must have
She's
been
got
crazy.
a real gift of
Yeah,
being able to
they made me
adapt
do the
to
simulator a few
racing.
times.
While Abby was busy learning the ropes, I was really curious to see how hand controls performed in a racing car. So I went with Aaron for a spin.
So when you're ready to go, put it into drive.
Yep.
And then you just accelerate off.
Yeah, fine. Being able to drive around Donington was a real privilege. I was feeling empowered by the technology.
That
I
noise,
started
by the
thinking
way,
back
in the
to
car
when I
is
got my
so
first
loud.
Prosthetics and
Yeah.
started my running journey.
Like that
Freedom
screeching
of
noise.
Being able to express yourself creatively. You're not seen as a person with a disability behind the wheel. You're seen as a person that's being able to express herself. That's epic, right? Yeah, it's badass. Yeah, I loved it.
When they said I'm going to drive on the track, that was the first time I felt nerves.
Cool, nice and snug.
So there's nothing scarier than for me as an instructor of someone to get in and think they know everything straight away. Like you can't hear much in here, so if I go faster, brake a bit more.
Yeah.
When you brake, don't just go whack, just slowly feed it in.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
What injury have you got? Disability?
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's quite rare.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you, spinal?
Yeah.
What level?
T6?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not fun, but you get used to it.
Life still is good,
Yeah. You go do cool things like this.
just
so.
a bit different.
Yeah, exactly. There's quite a lot of room for error. You have to be fully concentrating 120% because if you relax, you take your mind off it, and then something bad could happen. So it's intense.
My concentration face is real.
I was gonna say you look so serious, but I feel like you have to be like zoned in, right?
I mean, yeah, I didn't really want to hurt Aaron, so
Understandable.
the car, because apparently the car's very expensive.
The stress. Cute.
Whew.
That's so cool, dude.
I was holding my breath watching that, and I did it.
Is the acceleration when you just the second that you punch it, is it just like crazy? Like it just zips?
Yeah, because it's an electric car, obviously. If anyone's ever driven an electric car, it's immediate power. There's no delay from the engine.
Right.
So it's literally like immediate power. And when we did the start line, there's like 4 modes on the car. And we were driving like mode 2 most of the time, which is kind of like, you know, safer mode. And then when we did that start line, we put it in mode 4, which puts all the power in the back wheels, I think. So it literally just launched it, and it was like, heart was literally in my mouth.
I would be so
doing that.
stressed. It must have felt
Aaron was
amazing
like,
though.
Yeah, Aaron was literally like, just don't crash it. And I was like, brilliant. Words of encouragement. I was like, good.
Yeah.
I didn't, so it's all good.
You didn't.
Everyone can calm. I
mission
didn't crash the
accomplished.
car. Yeah. So yeah, it's good.
The handle definitely, like, from my perspective, having not used it, it has very like controller vibes, I guess. Like how difficult was
Yeah.
it to learn how to use it in the simulation and like using it?
So I think compared to what a road car, in a road car, we generally have them, they're not on the steering wheel like that. They're more like where the gear stick would be, or like on the side. So you only really have one hand on the wheel when you're actually steering. And when you're going at high speeds, obviously that's not ideal and very safe. So to have them right there, it was like almost you were in a video game. If you ever use like a racing simulator, it's kind of a bit like that, and you have full control and you can obviously steer and use them at the same time. So it was super nice to have that and have that control, and you felt secure in it because of it. And to have those hand controls was amazing, because I don't think I would have felt safe driving at the speeds we were driving at with just one hand on the wheel.
Right.
So yeah, I think it was pretty hard to learn, but you get used to it quite quickly. And I think because of our generation of like we're always on our phones, we're always playing games, we're always doing all that, I think we adapt quite quickly to it.
For sure. Do you think that it would be nice for us to go in a direction where there's more of that just in cars in general? Like, would you prefer to drive that way?
Yeah, for sure. I think having it that way just makes it safer for everyone. And obviously, like, our hand controls now are safe because they wouldn't let us drive with them if they weren't.
Sure.
But I think having that it would be a lot easier as well, because you wouldn't have to focus on doing as many things. You know, they're right there on the steering wheel, almost like a built-in thing to the car, instead of them being a very obvious adaptation, which they currently are. So yeah, having that would be amazing, and I'd love them in my car.
I guess
I'd love that
like,
car in general, to be fair.
Right?
It's
a beautiful car.
I mean, the cherry blossom on it and everything's just incredible.
Yeah. I guess it's the barrier there is like a financial technology issue,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah,
like
I can't imagine they're cheap.
Right. How do you create this in a way where people can actually buy them for their cars?
Yeah, and I think that's a big issue with adaptations and disability equipment in general. They're generally very expensive, even wheelchairs. And I know Rich has been talking a lot about prosthetics recently,
Right.
and how they're not accessible and they're expensive. And he talks about it a bit in the next bit, that it's hard to get access to them because of the financial barriers that there are.
Right.
So I think, again, having those hand controls is a barrier financially, but hopefully that will come down. It will be more of a normal thing.
I wanted to, if it's okay, I wanted to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
When you and your dad were being interviewed, and he was talking about how you were involved a lot in various sports when you were younger. I believe you're training to be a pilot now. Is that right?
Yes, it's one of the things I'm doing. I'm learning to fly.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Small planes at the moment, so it's been pretty cool. I started doing it 2 years ago. I've been obsessed with planes since I was a kid. So yeah,
Dude.
Anything adrenaline I like.
I was literally about to be like, you're kind of an adrenaline junkie, dude.
Yeah. Anything that has a little bit of adrenaline, I'm down for. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, are there any like sports that you used to be involved with that you've sort of looked into trying to get involved with again now?
Yeah, I was only actually saying earlier that to my mum that we were watching the second episode, which we'll get to see, and I was saying that I used to play football loads as a kid. Like since I was 4 or 5 years old, I've been massive in football. I'm an Everton fan, not Man City, unfortunately, and not Liverpool. Sorry, Adele. But I mean, I've always wanted to play football, and I haven't done that since. So maybe look into that, and there's a little bit of that in episode 2. So maybe you'll see that. But yeah, I've always wanted to kind of do that, and as a kid as well, with that, I experienced a lot of issues where it was like, oh, you're a girl, you can't play with the boys. Right. And that was like, again, a barrier that I had, was the sexism that was in it. It was, as soon as I got to think about 10, they were like, oh, because you're a girl, you can't play with the boys anymore, they're too powerful for you. Right. And it was like that barrier, and I was just like, okay. But then you're an adult, and all of a sudden you can play with whoever you want, so I don't really know how that works.
Right, yeah.
But the one sport I did play before that I do play now is I played tennis all the way through my childhood, and I now play wheelchair tennis. So that's a great example of how sport is inclusive. And I have a tennis wheelchair. I go on a Friday night usually and have a hit around with the guys, and we're all in wheelchairs, and we all just enjoy having that kind of level playing field where we can all just play together. But also you can play with able-bodied people, which is the great thing about it.
Right. How is like a tennis wheelchair different from the wheelchair that you use normally?
So it's a lot thinner, so you're literally like so into it you can barely breathe, because you want to be able to, like, they strap you in because you want to be able to move the wheelchair with your body and your momentum. And then the wheels are also cambered, so on a normal chair they're like straight, so you're as like thin as possible, but on a wheelchair like that they've got camber on them so that you don't like go sideways.
I was literally imagining to myself if you're like sort of swinging your body around, whether or not you would fall over, but that makes sense then.
Yeah, so it's a bit different, but yeah, basically your whole thing is that you want to be able to move the chair with your body, so you want to be as tight in it as you can. So when you've got that momentum, the way you move adjusts it. And I'm not a great example of it. I play tennis, but I'm nowhere near a pro. If you want to see a proper person playing wheelchair tennis, watch one of the Paralympians, because they are amazing.
Was it, or I guess in general, is it difficult to find like community that way, to be able, like, if you were to say to yourself, I really want to get into football again, how would you go about finding a group? I guess just look it up, right? Or
I mean, yeah, I guess the power of the internet is pretty good, but I think a lot of the time is with able-bodied football, you can just go to your local like city or town or whatever, and there'll probably be like 10 football groups that you can just go, I want to come on a Wednesday. They'll say, yeah, pay £5 and you can play. Right. And I think that's the easy thing about it. When you have a disability, it isn't that easy always. So for tennis, I have to go a half an hour drive away to play because there's like probably 100 tennis clubs within half an hour of me, but not one that does wheelchair tennis.
Right.
So it's that same barrier. And I think if there was football, it would probably be, I'd have to find somewhere and it would probably be at least half an hour away instead of just being able to go 5 minutes down the road and play it with my local club.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, it was awesome getting to chat with you.
Thank you.
Would you like to give your everybody, you should totally watch this awesome show because?
Yeah. Okay. Pressure. Yeah. I mean, as you saw in that little bit of the episode we saw, it's a super cool show. It's really well put together. It's just awesome to be able to see what the hard work we did come to life. And if you like racing driving, you like adrenaline, you want to see anything like that, watch the first episode for sure. But if you want to see the whole journey to this amazing race that Richard and Adele have put on, which is an amazing journey, you'll meet so many inspiring people along the way, such as like Liv and everyone else. I would highly recommend it because it's just so inspiring, and hopefully it will give, maybe you might be struggling with something, and hopefully it will give you that boost to go and, you know, do it and go ahead with it. So yeah, absolutely give it a watch. It's the best series I've seen in a long time.
I loved it. And I
so
learned
good, right?
so much. Like I don't think I realized how little I knew, you know, until watching this show. So I think it's really valuable in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I think it's just going to help raise that awareness, and I think that's the whole thing of bringing it out today, is that it's helping raise awareness, because again, as Adele says in episode 2, we don't want to be treated any better, we just want to be equal. And that's like, you know, just being able to go to the shops and being able to get in, or whatever we might want to do. And Richard says, my favourite line in the whole of episode 1 is when Richard says, the inclusion happened without banging on the inclusion drum. And that's my favourite line, because when I was driving that car, you wouldn't have known I was in a wheelchair from the outside.
Right.
But I was just included in it because I had those hand controls, and that's all it took.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it's the most amazing line, and I think that just sums up the whole show for me and how life should be. For sure. Yeah, just making the effort to make it so that everyone can participate and be involved in something that they want to be involved in and love. Yeah, it should be as easy as that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Abby.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Lovely to speak to you.
Lovely to speak to you as well.
Yes, I will hang about.
And now we do this. And now we pose. Oh, God. Hello. It's just me again. We're going to be hopping into the second episode in a couple of minutes here with Adele Roberts. All three of these people are so much cooler than I could ever be. Cool, right? I know. Every episode touches on a lot. Like, they cover a lot in each episode. So we only watched, I think, the first 10 or 12 minutes of that first episode, and each episode is like 35 minutes long. But like that one, they go on to talk to like people involved in equestrian and like all sorts of things. It's really cool. Okay, just double checking that I haven't missed any messages. Fantastic. I'm ready. Hello, Adele.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Oh, that was wicked. What a great show.
What an awesome show that you had a very heavy, important role in creating.
Well, not that episode, to be fair. I was only in it a little bit, but Abby, every time I hear her speak, I'm just like, I want to be Abby.
She's like, Abby's a very cool person.
I know. I'm sorry to bring the cool level down now. You're cool. Abby's cool.
What are you talking about? I literally, in my notes, I'm like, Adele is so cool. What an interesting person. Like, I literally just wrote that down.
I'll pay you later. Thanks, Dex. I'll pay you later.
Speaking of which, would you like to tell everybody about yourself, who you are?
Yeah, my name's Adele Roberts. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a DJ. I'm now a runner. I think it's okay, to call myself a runner, even though I didn't really feel like a runner for a lot of my life. And I am so honoured to be a part of this wonderful show. Like Abby said, it's just a privilege. And like you said as well, you learn a lot. I've learned so much making this programme, and it's definitely made me a better person, more mindful, and given me a better perspective as well.
I mean, just going into it, right, with the intention of we want to create an event that makes it as accessible and gives as much ease as possible for people to get involved and feel welcome, right? Even just saying like that's our mission, that's what we want to do, creates a situation where you're like, and now I need to learn a lot. What do people need, right?
Yeah, and like Abby just said, it's as simple as that. It's just as simple as like stepping out your own experience and going, hang on a minute, how can we make sure more people feel welcome? I'm really glad as well that she bigged up the accessibility coordinators, because I'm not just saying this because hopefully the people that made the show are watching this, but I've never worked on a show like that where they think about everything. Honestly, top notch. So I'd just like to say thank you to Nissan, Prime Video, Electric Robin and Dark Horses and everybody who made it possible, because it's not just lip service. They really meant it. And like Abby said, they took care of everything. And if they got a guest on the show, they made sure that they could get to the show easily, that they were in hotels that were fully accessible. They were brilliant, Dax. Brilliant.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah.
Sort of vibes. Yeah, that's amazing. Awesome. Should we start watching episode 2?
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
People will put you into boxes in life. What colour you are, what religion you are, sexuality, disability. It's so wrong. Why are we not seeing more people participating in sport? Myself and Adele are going to put on an event to support those individuals that have had this trauma, these underlying barriers that have stopped them from being what they want to be. So it's time for Run to the Future.
While we're trying to make things better and more inclusive, I thought it'd be really good to see how I can be a better representative of the LGBTQ+ community. Where better to start than football, a game that I absolutely love with all my heart. I've been to matches at Man City. I've been to Manchester Pride, but I've never seen the two come together. Can we bring pride to Man City?
Tune.
Abby was asking if this is like was this
I'm
made
Adele
for the
Roberts.
show?
I'm a
Do you know?
presenter,
Absolutely,
and DJ.
yeah.
With
Okay.
most recently,
It must be.
Guinness
I
World
didn't make it,
Record
though.
holder. I cannot believe myself. I was lucky enough to run the London Marathon and set a new Guinness World Record as the fastest female with an ileostomy. As a kid, I absolutely loved sport. With my mum having 6 kids as well, she was like, right, get out the house and don't come back until your tea's ready. So I was always running around in the streets and playing football with the lads. And I think the main barrier for me was sexism, not being able to play football as a girl or to be taken seriously. But now we can see women with those jobs, and I think that's what I needed to see when I was younger. The more you see yourself reflected in society, the more you know what you can achieve. You need to see it to be it. We're on this journey to look at inclusivity in sport, and as somebody that's part of the LGBTQ+ community, I think it's something that we need to put under the microscope. There's still a huge fight to be fought in terms of visibility, being part of the community and also a woman. It's really encouraging to see the revolution that's happened in women's football, but there's still more work to be done. If you look at the men's game, conversely, to think that there's no openly out gay male footballers, there's obviously a problem there, and it's something I'd really like to look into and see if there's any way we can help. And as part of the community, it's something I definitely empathise with. I think one of the big differences in the men's and the women's game is the way that the media treats it. And I think they could play a bigger role in making it more inclusive and accepting. So I've got some headlines here just as examples. Homophobic nature of Chelsea rent boy chant explained after explosion of incidents. I can't believe that. I think there's a lot still to be done on the terraces and changing the culture of how people express themselves. You know, I've seen a massive change in terms of the game and racism. When I was younger, there was a lot of chants that were very unsavoury and wouldn't pass nowadays, so I know it can be done. You can only imagine the pressure of the players hearing the chants, but then the people actually on the stands, if there's any LGBTQ plus fans, they're not going to feel empowered to actually do anything or say anything. So I've heard Man City are doing great things in terms of inclusivity right across the board. So I'm going to pop over to Manchester, meet some of the people involved and see what I can learn. Even though football is a beautiful game and it gives so much to so many, I think there's still a lot of work to be done, especially in terms of LGBTQ plus inclusion. There's a lot that we should be doing, and if the top clubs like Man City do something about it, I think the other teams will follow suit. And I picked a
Do you
big
support a team,
weekend to
Dex?
go. Not only was it Manchester Pride,
Do
it
you
was
support a
also
team?
Man
Do you have a
City's
team?
first.
No, my husband's family is really into Arsenal.
Oh yeah, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Gunners.
I, for some reason, I just can't get super invested in a specific team. So I just root for everybody while I'm watching, which no one likes. But
You're sitting on the fence.
yeah, I just sit there and go, yay. And then they go, no, not them. We don't cheer when they go. And I go, oh, sorry.
Home game of the season. So I thought a good place to start would be the mighty Canal Street Blues, who are Man City's LGBTQ plus supporters group.
The thought of having an LGBTQ plus supporters group, I was excited about. But further afield, I just thought to myself, how big is this challenge going to be?
Yeah.
The usual sort of questions, why do they feel the need
That word
to have
they.
their own?
Yeah.
You know, are they really football fans? You know,
Wow. Yeah, what is this misnomer of you can't be part of our community and be into football?
I don't get it.
Stereotypes, isn't it, really?
Yeah. The relationship we've had with the football club about our LGBTQ plus supporters and them supporting us, it's always been supported, raising the flag, branding within the stadium.
You know, when I was in my teenage years and being comfortable in my sexuality, I would have loved to have kind of had Canal Street Blues there so that I would be able to, you know, support my team, but also be a part of this community that is so accepting of who I am. So I love that kind of the next generation of football fans has this safe space.
And maybe football itself can learn a little bit from this, because we are comfortable within the crowd of people we're with. We can just be ourselves. Your sexuality within our group is not important.
Yeah, the overarching thing is that we're all part of the City family
Yeah.
first and foremost.
Love that. Yeah, we just want to be treated the same as everyone
Yeah.
else. We don't
Absolutely.
want special treatment, just
Yeah.
to be accepted. I've also come for inspiration. So we're hoping to organise a fully inclusive race to include as many people as possible. It's going to be called Run to the Future. And I was just wondering if you have any tips for me on just making sure that we represent properly for the LGBTQ plus community.
Don't worry about what you think the future might hold from a negative point of view, because I guarantee you that you will get the support.
Love that.
And you can make the future. You
Yeah.
can make the future be positive. Maybe the message for the run itself as well.
One thing that I love about the Canal Street Blues is that they're not just accepting the status quo. They're not waiting for society to catch up. They're being very proactive.
The culture is changing. I know there's been decades and decades of, you know, homophobia in football, but slowly, you know, hopefully that can start to take a turn and we see that discrimination, you know, is stamped out.
Can we pause?
I find it difficult.
Thank you. Are do a lot of football clubs have a support group like this? Is this
That's
a
a
common
really good
thing?
question. Until I'd met the Canal Street Blues, I didn't realise how big they were. Also, as you just heard then, they're relatively new. So I think it's something that's changing and something that's getting better. My team, Liverpool, have the cop-outs. I know that Spurs have a really good showing as well, a really great club of supporters. I think it's something that's growing, which is good.
Yeah, because I saw somebody in chat was like, man, I really wish that my team had something like this. So do you think that there's value in like maybe a lot of people just don't know that exists for their team?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that hopefully people will see the show and feel empowered to maybe start one for their own team, or at least speak to the team and see if there's something that can be done about that. Yeah, it's like I just said there, I think it's about being proactive, not just accepting the status quo and actioning something. So a lot of people will think things, but they don't actually do it. And I think what's great about this program is we're meeting a lot of the people that have thought it and done it as well.
Right. And I think obviously it gets talked about a lot in this episode, but this episode in general is so eye-opening for me, because I think when people imagine accessibility and inclusivity, they immediately jump mentally to like physical things. But this episode talks a lot about like social accessibility, right? Like not even just like, do you feel welcome, but are things making you feel unwelcome, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And I think there's such a theme in all of these episodes about reclaiming your mind and your body through something that you find empowering, right? And if that's sport, is there...
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, because as in the next episode, which Richard's going to talk about, we also touch on non-visible disabilities, and sometimes that might be something that exists in the mind. So yeah, we really did try and think of everybody and everything.
Yeah, it's very cool. Anyways, we could keep playing now.
Talk about my feelings and emotions at the best of times. So kind of talking about something as personal as your sexuality, you know, was really difficult for me. You know, I came out in my early 20s, but I knew for a long time before that I wasn't straight. So it wasn't until I'd got a new job, and I think the fresh start and the clean slate where I was able to feel like I could be 100% myself. It was after then that I was able to come out to my family. From that moment on, you know, I was able to be completely myself. I didn't expect to feel the relief I did feel when I came out, because I felt, you know, that I'd accepted who I am a long time before that. It wasn't that I was afraid of what people might think. It was more just sharing a part of me that was so personal was what I found difficult. I've heard homophobic chants and comments. It's, you know, aimed at players. It's never been aimed at me personally. You know, I feel like in a football stadium, it's similar to the internet. It can be a hostile environment. The attitudes of the people in the stands is really where things have to start to change. We all have to take responsibility.
I wanted to meet someone who understands the issues of homophobia firsthand. Xander Murray was the first openly gay Scottish footballer and is joined by fellow inclusivity advocates Natalie Washington from Football vs Homophobia and Man City women's legend Izzy Christiansen.
September 2022, I became the first Scottish open-out gay professional footballer.
Did you know when you were playing that you were gay?
Yeah, I mean, I've never told this story, but I'll tell it. So I used to go to the Celtic games with my father. There was a pub next to the Celtic park that he used to sneak us into. Across the road, there was a slightly more established pub, and my dad and my uncles used to always go, "Xander, son, you never want to drink over there when you're older. That's where all the gays drink." And at that time, growing up, like, there was no visibility, there was no role models that I could see. I was yearning for that person, and I just want to give back as much as possible, because I want no kid to struggle like I did, you know, that internal turmoil with your brain, and to know that you can be gay, you can be good at football, you know, you can be macho, which my brain, I just thought, how can I be like fitter, faster, stronger than some of these boys and be gay, you know, growing up?
Another reverse ball might do the trick here. Xander Murray gets a shot away, and it's lashed into the bottom corner. A goal seemingly out of nothing there, but it's a second of the game.
Go on, Xander.
For Xander Murray.
Yes, so Football versus Homophobia is a campaign really kind of aligned to a lot of what Xander's saying, right? Kind of to make sure that football can be an inclusive place for LGBTQ people to exist.
Be realistic, like, you're going to get hate, like you are, but you've got a full community of footballers, homophobia, that are going to have your back with tough times, which has been massive for me. The role of having true allies, true leaders in your dressing room, this is even before I came out. My old manager at the time just started saying this. After every game we won, he used to say, right, boys, go home with your girlfriends, go home with your boyfriends, go and relax. Got a big snigger, and our captain stood up. He just went, boys, my cousin's gay, he's married, he's got a husband. See if anybody here has got a partner from the same sex, that is not an issue. I'm getting goosebumps. And this is me in the closet. I'm like,
I'm getting goosebumps.
My old gaffer, like proper ginger, Scottish, hard as nails, being authentic allies, you know, not doing it for publicity or anything. And these little messages like that, if they can continue to happen for people that are struggling, like, guarantee it'll mean the world to people.
To hear that you maybe didn't hit your absolute peak performance because you were afraid of the repercussions. For anybody to go through that now is kind of, it's heartbreaking to think that, and now they've got you to look up to.
The stuff you're shouting in that stadium, there's somebody next to you probably really struggling
Well
with that.
said.
You know, so
Yeah.
be super, super mindful of that word that you're using, because, sorry, I get emotional with these topics. Some people are like one word away from potentially ending it all, you know what I mean?
We need people like Xander. He's a massive role model and an inspiration to me, and I'm so grateful to him for what he's done for our community.
Yeah.
Great to welcome you to.
Oh, I love that
What a
interview with
guy.
Xander.
Yeah.
Like, he seems so dedicated to being the person that he needed when he was growing up, you know?
Amen. Well said. I'm so grateful to him for what he's done, for speaking up, because he is still in the minority, unfortunately. We've still not created a safe space for people to fully express themselves, but he's one of the ones that's put his head above the parapet and is brave enough to stand up and talk authentically and from the heart. And I really appreciate him sharing his story about his dad as well, because that must be really hard to do. He'll love his dad, but he's also got to talk about when his dad maybe got it a bit wrong. And that's a hard thing to do. I think that was what was hard for me when I was young and I was realizing I was gay. I didn't want to let my family down. I felt like I might, get rejected, or that I'd done something wrong in some way. There was a part of myself that I wanted to reject. I didn't want it to be me in a way, because I didn't have that representation. And maybe if I had people like Xandra around when I was younger, and some of the other female footballers that are out and proud now, I'd understand that there's nothing wrong with me. It's just that I'm just different to the rest of my family.
Yeah. And him talking about his coach at the time as well, like, and just the fact that you never know, just even a small showing of support can be something that really sticks with a person, right? Something that they think back to and remember for a really long time, like a core memory, so to speak.
Well said. Like, allies are so important to our community. And that guy, the captain, like standing up and doing what he did, that would have reverberated around that room. And again, it sets the culture. It tells people that's not acceptable. Yeah, you might have been having a joke, but not anymore, because it hurts people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's exactly what it is, right? Because so much of this episode is about this sort of like established culture around certain sports, right? And how do you combat that when it's so pervasive, when you just see it everywhere? Coming from America, I guess like it's sort of similar to like what American football sort of fans are like, but I feel like there is like a really aggressive quality to football fans out here, and there is like an effort to cling to this like macho masculine, like this is what's expected of you sort of element.
And it's a myth, because like Xander said, you can be big and strong and macho and be gay. It's a stereotype. It's a misnomer. I did it. Thanks for pointing out about American football as well, because you've just made me think. I don't know any out American football players, are there, in the men's game?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I would have to look.
Do you know what we should do, Dex? We should go to America. Right, this is my pitch for series 2. We're going to
Here we
go to
go,
America
season
and
2.
sort out American football. Me and you, let's do it.
Yes, let's go, dude. Yeah. This has been my plan all along, really. It's just like get myself involved, you know. I'll be in Run to the Future 2025. It's gonna be great. Oh my goodness. Can I ask a question about your stoma? Is that all right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, please do. Yeah.
So you named her Audrey. After the character from Little Shop of Horrors, I believe you said.
Yeah,
What
she looks like
made
that.
you what made you want to do that? Was it because of that?
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen the musical, but the plant is very naughty, very greedy, very cheeky, and that's exactly what Audrey's like. She does what she wants when she wants.
Amazing. I love it. Is how long does this stoma stay with you? Will you have it forever, or is there going to be a point where it's I know that in episode 3 we meet someone who's had their stoma removed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we meet Natalie, who's brilliant. I can't wait for everyone to meet her. And she's had her stoma reversed, and I will hopefully have mine reversed in the future. But at the moment, I'm not at the point where I'm ready to do that. I've not really talked about this a lot, but when you have your stoma reversed, your body doesn't necessarily go straight back to how it was. I'll probably never be the same again in terms of going to the toilet. But I'm also at risk of developing LARS, which is a syndrome, which means that I might not be able to sort of control my bowels as well as I used to be able to. So for now, while I'm running and I'm happy with my stoma. But because I got my stoma through having cancer, surgery for cancer, mine is reversible. But not everybody who has a stoma has a reversible one. Sometimes it's through a digestive issue like Crohn's or colitis, and those people will keep their stomas forever.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it depends on why you have it. I guess that makes the most sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do so many different things. You're a DJ, you're a runner, you're working on a 6-star major marathon. That's like your current project. What is that?
Yeah, that's another great question. Until I started running, I didn't really know what it was. And I think, to be honest, I've been inspired a lot by Richard Whitehead, who is one of the people that's completed the 6-star challenge. So they have these major marathons around the world. They have Berlin, Chicago, New York, Tokyo, Boston, and London. And if you complete all 6, you get a special medal. And it's kind of, well, it's a huge honor. It's an honor to run any marathon, to be honest with you, but it's something that's quite rare, quite remarkable, and it's a big challenge. And so I decided to do it to help raise money for some charities that have really helped me. Am I allowed to say the charities or no?
I don't know.
Do you think I'll be allowed?
Doctor?
Okay, well, I'll just say one's a cancer charity and one's an LGBTQ plus charity.
Okay.
And I want... Oh, I've got the okay. Okay, so yeah, Cancer Research UK and the Attitude Magazine Foundation, and they've supported me a lot, communities that I'm involved with a lot. And I think I just want to show what's possible post cancer. I think that people don't always talk about the other side of coming through. If you're lucky enough to survive cancer, how do you get your life back together? And running something that's helped me so much. It's been like medicine to me. And so I want to show what's possible with running and movement. And like you say, like we've been talking about, inclusivity and representation and showing people that you can have a stoma, but you can still run around the world and complete the 6 major marathons, fingers crossed.
Oh my gosh.
Because I've not done it yet.
So you're starting it soon. Hopefully.
I've started it. So I've done the first 3. So I've done Berlin, Chicago, New York. And then in the new year, I'll be doing Tokyo, Boston, and London. And if things go the way that they're going at the moment, I think I'll also set a new Guinness World Record as the fastest female with an ileostomy to do all 6 as well. So fingers crossed.
I can't believe that you came on here and you were like, I guess I'm a runner. I guess I can call myself a runner. Like,
well, comparing myself to Richard, I don't feel like a runner, but also I've changed a lot as an adult. I sort of didn't do sport for a lot as an adult. I spent a lot of my adult years overweight. And I've only just started to turn my life back around, and I talk a bit about that in this program. And so there's still the old me in here raring to get out. So I
Sure.
try and make the
Yeah.
choice to be a good person each day. I'm a trier. That's what I am, a trier.
Yeah, I mean, just watching you on the show, it feels like you very naturally are drawn toward trying to connect with people,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. You're lovely.
Oh, thank you, Dex. No, but that's been the greatest bit of this program. It's not necessarily like I mean, it was amazing getting to go to Man City and getting to hang out with Richard and put on the race, but it's the people are the magic source for me. And I've come away, like I said, learning so much, and again being inspired. And so anyone watching this, don't underestimate the effect you will have on your friends and family. If you're somebody that in your community you're doing good things, make sure you shine bright, because those people need to see you doing that and winning.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask Richard this question as well, but is there, like, assuming that you get to do a Run to the Future 2025, I hope you do, so that I can be in it. I don't even like to run, but watching this show is like, maybe I should start running. I don't know. What do you think, now that you've gone through the whole process and you've all like learned a bunch about, what is involved, is there anything specifically that, like, looking to the future, you want to include in the next one?
Yeah, I think because we had the idea and then had to almost action it straight away, there's probably people that we've missed. So if anybody watches this and you're like, maybe I could be there next year and maybe you could do this for me, we would love to hear from you. One of the things I saw when I did the New York Marathon, which I loved, were lactation tents. So women that might be
so
pregnant
smart.
or women that might have just had a baby, just being mindful of them as well, and just making sure they have somewhere that they can either feed their baby or they can lactate if they need to and save the milk and, take it home afterwards. And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. So
That's so
hopefully,
smart.
we can think about things like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole time that I was watching this show, I would try to, like, challenge myself if it was clear, like, who was going to be talked to next, or what the theme was going to be. I'd try to think to myself, like, what is going to be a good accommodation for, like, this group of people, and I almost never got it right or could think of anything. And it really does take, like, putting in the effort to connect with people, because
Yeah,
otherwise
exactly.
you just don't know unless you are, like, interacting, right, and connecting.
Totally. I think sometimes in life you don't have to have the answers. You just need to have the questions and to be speaking to the right people. And that's what I hope we got to do in this show. I hope people feel like we represented them. But like you say, there will be people that we've missed, and we'd love to hear from you. Use your voice to help us make the world a better place.
Absolutely. I feel like you've sort of done this already, but would you like to speak to the masses, speak to the people, and tell them why this show's so special, why they should check it out?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for having us, Dex. Thank you for sharing your platform
Yes.
and helping us spread the message. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming to talk to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've put my special red top on for you. I thought, I need to dress smartly. I'm going to be speaking to Dex. I think in the run up to Christmas, I think it's truly heartwarming. It's what Christmas is all about, family and community. And then, as we keep alluding to, if you want to make a change in the new year, watch this show. These people will absolutely blow you away and show you what's possible. And I truly believe now that there's no sport in this world that somebody with a disability couldn't do. They've shown me that. And it's without a doubt taught me so much and made me a better person. So please watch it, and we hope you enjoy it.
Oh, everybody say thank you, Adele. Thank you so much for
you.
joining me. So long. It's just me again. I'm so sorry. Immediately. Right? We've had two amazing people on here. We're about to have Richard, who is a Paralympic athlete, has like crushed world records. So it's just constant cool people the whole time. Yeah, a third amazing person. I know. Yeah, no biggie, you know. It's very cool. What a fun, a couple of people were saying like that this has been such a cool way to just like talk with people and hang out and like ask a bunch of questions and stuff. And I agree. It's been really neat. Oh, thank you. I'm doing my best. I know. Adele just like comes out with inspirational one-liners constantly. It's amazing. All right. I'm ready. I'm ready for Richard. Let's go. Oh no! Hello, Richard. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's
of course,
it's a fantastic honour. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, it's an honor to have you.
I bought some props today as well. Is that good?
Yes. What sort of props are we talking about?
The Olympic torch. How about that?
Oh my goodness! That's insanely impressive props. Yeah,
that's it. Pretty cool. Then a picture of me running. How about that? That's pretty cool, right? And then just to round it off, one of these bad boys.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Wait, can I say, hold on, can we revert back to first prop? How big is that thing?
Yeah. So it's obviously it's meant to be a torch, so it's massive. Yeah.
It looks like it's the entire length of my body, if I'm being real.
Yeah, it is big. Yeah. So when you were part of the Olympic torch relay, you might have been lucky enough to get one of these. So there's not many of these at all. So I'm lucky enough to have one of those. It sits in my office, and obviously not many people have got these.
Right. Yeah. No joke.
But only 9 British athletes won gold medals in the Olympics or Paralympics in that stadium that we saw at the start of the documentary. So it's fantastic to obviously share those memories, thoughts with Adele, and kind of really set up the documentary around what Abby and Adele have really talked about. It's believe in achieving, but also understanding that anything is possible, but then really investigating what some of the challenges and obstacles are for not just people with disabilities, people that have obstacles and challenges within their life, right. And then be really solution led regarding what our storytelling is about. So as you go through the 3 episodes, we're learning about new people, we're learning about new conditions and disabilities, but we're also learning about hope, aspiration, resilience, and how people with disabilities are very resourceful, and how we can all learn from that resource. And like Adele just alluded to just then, we've all been on a journey through this documentary of kind of really delving into kind of our own thoughts and trauma that we've gone through in our life, and coming out the other side better people, but also having that platform to be able to share in that safe space that like your audience will have now. And obviously hopefully they'll watch the whole documentary and kind of feel maybe a warmness towards not only myself and Adele, but also the other contributors that gave their time to be part of this movement. And it's about sustainability as well. There's a real true message behind the documentary around the reason why we want to do it is because there's a real need out there. There's a need to tell these stories. People with disabilities don't have the platform to talk about themselves and those challenges, and able-bodied people don't understand that the small things that affect disabled people have a massive impact on their development.
Right.
And by telling these stories really does elevate themselves into that leadership opportunity. And we want to do that. And the sustainable impact of that is we want to tell more stories, and we want to have a bigger impact on participation in sport, obviously, education, and employment as well. We want to see more people with disabilities, whether that's hidden disabilities, physical, learning, sensory disabilities, in these roles that really showcase what leadership's about, and that's representation.
Right. And you have a foundation as well. So you've already been like working on and talking with people about these things like long before deciding to do the Run to the Future. So was Run to the Future your initial idea, and then you reached out to Adele?
So the concept was, it was obviously I've done a lot of running events myself, and Adele was starting her journey through running. I've always wanted to have a platform like this, and the bigger the platform with the bigger contributors, the better. But it was a collective kind of idea of putting on an event that really incorporated stakeholders, influencers that could really make a difference and a lasting difference. And I was actually on a call like this, and we were kind of going, oh, we need to come up with a name, and then it just popped into my head of Run to the Future. So that came from this kind of head that's not a lot in there, but it came straight away. And
got it in one. You crushed it.
Yeah. But I also talk to, like, I've got a lot of friends that are not able to walk or run, and then I spoke to them about how they felt about Run to the Future. What does that really mean to them, and if they're a wheelchair user or not able to run or walk. And they were kind of unanimous with their really thought process around, it's about moving forwards. It's not about necessarily running, or it's about a different perspective in what running actually is. And running is for me, it's about yourself, and yourself not being judged on anybody else. And that's what I do advocate for, is when you're setting yourself like new goals and aspirations for the future, it's great that you see social media, so many other people doing incredible things, but have your own gold medal moments, have your own, where's it gone? Have your own gold medal moments, and celebrate them just as like I did on top of that podium in 2012, because they're as significant as my kind of gold medal moment, and that's what's really important. So that's what this challenge is really about, and that's why everybody that you'll see in the third episode that started their journey really did have so many fantastic moments in that. And whether they did 1 mile or 5k, they met new people, they talked to people from different backgrounds. My big focus in my life is hard to reach communities, so working with people that have those real challenges and obstacles, and whether that's disability, sexuality, religious boundaries or obstacles, getting them to understand that anything's possible in life. And yes, I've used my platform of sport and Adele within the DJ and entertainment industry, and now sport. We're kind of coming together to be able to support those individuals that maybe just need a little bit of work on their confidence and self-esteem. And I truly feel that we are able to do that, and our gift in life is probably the ability to be able to connect and listen and communicate to the wider communities, which is something that not everybody can do. And it's a great honour to have the support of stakeholders such as Nissan and the wider community and wider stakeholders to be able to put on an event such as this.
Was it, sorry, one last question and then we'll actually watch the episode.
That's fine. That's as many as you want.
Was it whose idea was it to turn it into like a docuseries? How did that wind up happening?
Again, very much kind of, you look at the extent of work that needs to be done, and when you've got, like I say, dark horses and the contributors such as them, that they've got the creative nous to be able to look at the possibilities and then put it into perspective. And for me, if it was just a one-off program, I don't think we'd be able to really investigate all the areas that we did. And like Adele said as well, there's still so many people that I'm sure are watching and listening now that have those obstacles and barriers and feel they don't fit into certain boxes or areas that are safe at the moment. And what we're saying is we're willing to listen to those communities and enable them through creating those safe spaces at events in the future. And we're passionate about making a second series, but also challenging ourselves around not just accepting the great work that we've done in series 1, but also really pushing ourselves to see if we can work in some even more challenging communities and make that social change for sustainability.
Right. Awesome. Yeah, I was saying to Adele, but like watching this, the second I start running, my heart hurts. So I don't do a lot of running. But watching it, I was like, should I start running? Maybe I should start running. Sure. It was very...
And again, like I say, the perspective of what running is. It's about... The running isn't actually the physical exercise of it. It's about the challenge. Right. It's about your challenge yourself to be better today. And one thing that I do still now is get up in the morning, set myself some really small, achievable goals, and then through those goals, evaluate myself and go, yes, I did really well, or I need to kind of work really more on that mindfulness or whatever it is, and then go to bed kind of really thankful and then goal set again. And I think that's what it's all about. It's about being better every day and then having people around you that's able to support that process as well, because we all need to have people that really support us, communities that support us, those safe space where we're able to get enrichment and be successful.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's crack into it. Let's start watching episodes.
Yeah, might as well watch a bit of the documentary.
So, how do you think Run to the Future went?
Oh my gosh, Run to the Future.
Myself
this
and
made me so nervous, by the way.
To support those individuals that had these underlying barriers that have stopped them from being what they want to be. There's a lot of learnings that we can take forward.
How do you make sure that everybody is covered? Have we bitten off more than we could chew?
3, 2, 1.
You like the tune, yeah?
I do. It was a bop every time.
When I competed in Tokyo in 2021, it was a stadium environment, so to be on the streets of Tokyo and experiencing that, it's something that I've always wanted to do and get a real authentic feel of what's going on in the city. It's good, really good. The vibe of Tokyo is really inspiring, to be honest, because you get to understand the culture and how authentic people are. People are making a living here, but it's also really apparent that they do it with a kindness across everything they do.
Oh my gosh, we're getting so close now to the main event. I've got so much to organise. Richard's gone over to Tokyo to do the 6-star marathon, the major over there, and he's also going to look into inclusion in sport. They've got different ideas about stuff, so he's going to look into what they're doing and hopefully bring us back some tips.
When I put on my running legs, it's about more than just myself. The effort and the challenges, the training that I put in every day of my life, it's to points that hopefully inspire and liberate other people.
about 12 Ks in. Richard's doing great.
Having a pacer, having a guide with me, like Mike, also shows that we can't all do it on our own. The importance of having a team is paramount to success. As part of the journey, I was fortunate enough to travel to the Nissan Connect race, which takes place annually and is for runners with visual impairments. How important is it to have a guide, and how has your relationship developed?
そうですね。私にとってはもう伴走者がいなければ結局もう走ることそのものができないので、その意味で本当に大事な存在になります。
Guiding includes running with him as well, but also guiding him from the station and packing all the bags and all the minute details. If they have that, they are just another functional human being. So it's very rewarding to be those eyes.
でそれから、走ることの価値は多分みんな共通だと思うんですね。やっぱりこう辛くても走り切った時の爽快感とか達成感があると思うので、その点については共通だと思うし、あと、障害を持った人とこう一緒に走るっていうことで、障害のある人とない人が一緒に走るということで、単にこう一人で走る以上の喜びが多分得られるんではないかなというふうに思いますので、
さまざまな人が参加するという上ではとても大事なことかなと考えています。最初は不安でもやってみたらすごい割と楽しかったりとか面白い発見があったりすると思うので、諦めずにちょっと挑戦してみようよって言うかなって思います。
I was really glad I got that opportunity to chat to some of the participants about their experiences that maybe we could have a look at to change for our event. It was fantastic to do that as well. It was really fantastic to do that.
Now that I've got the privilege of having a stoma, non-visible disabilities is something that I'm trying to make sure I bring awareness to and make sure that anybody with a non-visible disability feels welcome. You know, I'd love to meet these people and learn more about their conditions because you can't see them. So it's not always obvious what those people are going through. Yes, they're here! Hi guys, you all right?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming down. Really appreciate it. So I don't know if you've heard, me and Richard are trying to put on a really inclusive run. I know that you're all really inspirational. You're all repping non-visible conditions. And I might start with you, Emily.
Okay.
This is a big thing for you being here today.
Yeah, it's massive, yeah.
Like, because usually you don't run outside, do you?
Never. I'm a bit nervous about it. And, you know, being here is a massive opportunity to represent dyspraxia. I started running when I was at secondary school. Showing up in PE classes was quite a big deal for me. I felt so nervous in my own skin running. And then the older I got, I went on the treadmill because it was more contained. But being here today is just a massive step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. She was part of the school's cross-country team, and because sadly she got bullied, she didn't feel like she could take part. She then ended up having to run on a treadmill instead of outside and with friends because she just felt that she was going to be judged. And I hope that she will trust us to allow her to run with us at Run to the Future. Deborah developed osteoporosis when going through menopause, and that is key to bring awareness to that. A lot of people don't realise that.
I started the Catch 5K with my sister-in-law. I mean, I am a rubbish runner, I'm not fast, but I do it, and I love it. People don't want to talk about the menopause, they don't want to talk about osteoporosis, but to talk about that means that it's normal.
I think in a lot of ways, if I didn't have my stoma, I wouldn't have taken on the challenge of running a marathon. It helped me deal with having cancer, it helped me deal with all the changes that had happened to my body overnight, and it's lovely to meet another woman that's been through a similar thing, and I know I'll learn a lot from Deborah. And Graham, what about you?
I served in the military from a young age, and now I serve as a police officer, but as part of it was always going to be running, whether I wanted to or not. Thankfully, it's been a really good tool for managing my mental health, which is the kind of challenge that I face in daily life.
You see, people won't realise that people like Graham, just to look at him, he looks really smiley, but the fact that he's living with these conditions means that maybe when he goes to races, he's not always catered to. Graham and some of the dark places that he's been to, He's had such a tough life.
In 2019, I attempted suicide by entering a body of water, and I was very thankfully pulled out and stopped from doing so by a colleague in the police. I went on to become a probationary training instructor, and one of the lessons or teaches that we do is suicide intervention. Part of that lesson was to talk my classes through a hypothetical operational situation that they might face, and I'd describe the suicide attempt of this person as it unfolds, but at the very end of the talk through I would then reveal that that subject was in fact me.
Yeah, so powerful.
My purpose in doing that was to, one, serve as a role model for people who may be struggling with their mental health or maybe have in the past, and demonstrate that you can recover and you can come back to a position of strength. I'm glad to say that's come full circle for me and for the teams that I've supervised, and we have successfully intervened and stopped people from completing suicide. So it's been a nice, for want of a better expression, a nice holistic journey in that sense.
You're a wonderful man.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Just all three of them being there shows me the importance and the power of actually having the courage to show up. Just them even meeting me at the track, I know how much it took for each of those people to do that, and that means a lot.
I've had some great things sent through by my team. Having that picture in front of you of the course itself, the opportunities for signage. Adele will be really pleased because I can see lots of toilet stops just in case Audrey does misbehave. Audrey's obviously Adele's stoma.
So I think that anybody that's worried about how to get there, which I know a lot of people, that will be part of their day, it just shows them easily how to actually make it to the site and all the facilities available.
One of the medals that we've got has actually been sent through. So here we have the first medal with Braille, certified and officially
I love
approved
this
by
medal.
the RNIB.
It looks so
a lot of
nice.
people do actually come to events for not only the experience but the actual takeaways as well. So memories that they have, but also the medals as well.
So this is going to be our start line. Just being able to see our inclusive flag all over this event just means the world to me. That's beautiful. Love it. It's so weird to think that something that we've talked about and thought about is actually coming to life.
You've done so much work up to this point, and everybody has really embraced the mission and the challenge, but we need to get that word out. It's a final push.
Oh my goodness. I'm
It's
sad that
awesome,
we
right?
don't get to actually see the run.
You need to watch it. That's it. You need to watch
You
it.
gotta
Everybody
go
needs to go
watch
watch it. Yeah, you've got to go watch it now. But one thing you'll see in the third episode, everybody's smiling, and that was one of our real. When I talk about missions, it's like to give everybody a great opportunity and enrichment, and then make them smile. And you could see that obviously at the start, there's quite a few people that never run before or never taken part in an event such as this. And like Adele said there, with some of the hidden conditions, there's a lot of anxiety around taking part in such events where there's a lot of people. So we really did think about the planning of that and listening to the community and how we can negate some of those challenging obstacles. But yeah, one of the big things that the mission for the event was everybody needs to have a great time and really feel the love of obviously Run to the Future, and feel that it's not a finishing line, it's actually a start of their future. So it's a real it's a start and a start line. You don't actually finish.
Yeah. I like I said when we first started watching the episode, because it starts with both of you like, oh, Run to the Future, how did it go? I was like, oh no, did stuff go wrong? But you know, a spoiler, I guess. Yeah,
sure.
everyone while I was watching it, it was such a delight to see everybody seeming to have like such a good time. Like everyone
so
felt
many
very
different
welcome.
Kinds of people, experiences, ages, abilities, disabilities, and some of those abilities and disabilities you couldn't see. And that's the real challenge for the disability community, that because of that, there's a lot of naivety about the suffering that you're having on a daily basis, and also that these individuals aren't looked after, aren't supported, aren't given the platform that everybody deserves. Everybody deserves to have that platform for success. And
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
we want to advocate for that in the future.
Right. And having you guys in this situation so committed to going out and reaching out to people and talking about, their experiences and their needs. But like I was saying earlier, watching this show really drove home for me how little I'm aware of of those needs, right?
Yeah, for sure. And also the discrimination that people with disabilities come up against every day. And I always talk about a story that I have around when I'm going to school with my children and I wear shorts and people can physically see my disability. And some of the comments that I get from some of the young children are those of questioning. Oh, why has that person got those legs? Is he a robot? Blah, 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 blah. And the parents aren't addressing those conversations. And I say exactly the same to my Black and Asian friends. Imagine if you're in the supermarket and somebody addresses you by your race or colour. How would you feel? And they're like, no, we'd really want that addressing. And I'm like, that's something I go through every day. And they're not aware of that. They're not aware of that discrimination. And that discrimination filters through from participation, education and employment because there's not enough representation. But also, I feel the biggest reason why this documentary is needed is because of the storytelling that me and Adele are able to give and highlight some of the real challenges and obstacles and blockers that still affect society, and how the leaders of tomorrow, young children, need to have these tools to be able to kind of say, actually, yes, they may be different, but because of that difference, they're going to educate me. They've got skills, that they're a resource that we can all learn from, because as we know with some of the new technologies that's happening in the world at the moment, the advocates, the inventors have those challenges and obstacles, and they've overcome them because of their resilience. And that's what's really important, that we understand that disability is a resource.
Yeah, I guess also for parents or for people who need to advocate for their children or children in their life to have a better understanding of what the kids in their lives or their kids' friends might need, and to know to ask those questions or to take an interest in finding those answers, right?
Yeah. And also some of the lessons that I learned over the process was about the value of time and how time is so precious. And obviously somebody like Adele that's gone through cancer treatment, and you talk to her openly about how she feels now from before that cancer diagnosis. She feels she's a better person from going through that and learning to be more empathetic towards a wider community. And I've learned a lot from her and how she's really overcome some of those challenges, obstacles, and she's so positive. And some of the other storytellers within the documentary have really gave me an appetite to find more people that have got these stories and give them the same kind of platform. Myself and Adele travel all over the world with our professions. I worked in America for a year. I've obviously run marathons all over the world as well, and I meet people that are from war-torn conflict to homeless to people that have got disabilities that have never been able to walk, run or jump. And it's nice to be able to communicate with them, sometimes even not through language but more through actions, and showcasing that anything is possible, but it's not easy. When people see me run, they think, oh yeah, that's it, you put on a pair of prosthetics and then you run a marathon. That's not what happens. It's not. That's like saying to an able-bodied person, here's a pair of trainers, go and run a marathon in 2 hours. It just doesn't happen.
Which is not how it works.
You need to put it into perspective. There's lots of challenges and obstacles, and that road isn't always straight. So when you hit those bumps in the road, you need to have people that are able to support that bumpy road.
Right. Would you and if you can't answer this, it's totally fine. But you've said that you would like to tell more stories if given the opportunity for another season. Are there specific like groups of people that you would love to highlight and talk to that you've already sort of got clinking around?
Yeah, lots. I'm very people that know me, and I know people will be watching this now laughing when I say I'm quite creative anyway. So I've always got ideas. But yeah, those hard to reach communities where you can shine a light on maybe that society's shunned them, and all they want is an opportunity, or an opportunity to right their wrongs, and utilise charity or sport to be able to do that. And like I say, I'm passionate about sport. It's given me some golden moments, but it's not all about participation. It's sometimes about spectating, administrating, volunteering. Without volunteers, sport wouldn't be the same as what it is. And for me, it's really important that we all believe that there's a sport or a physical activity that can have a massive impact on our mental health. We heard about some mental health in that last episode with Graham, and obviously some of the challenges that he's really overcome, and through running it saved his life with the support of his friends and colleagues. And I know there'll be some people that are watching and listening that have their own mental health challenges and obstacles, and it's about having those tools, having those skills, having people around you, and finding your gift. I think mine and Adele's gift is the ability to be able to relate to other people and support their journey, and also helping people find their own gift as well.
Yeah, you both have a lot of warmth. From what I can tell, you both connect with people very well, and I think show a really genuine interest in understanding.
We wanted the documentary to be authentic, and as you'll go through the 3 episodes, you'll hear that we both open up about some of the past traumas that we both had suffered, and we want to do that because if we're asking our storytellers to do the same, we wanted the viewer to understand that this is from a very authentic and genuine place, and I think it is. I think it's fantastic to be able to have that opportunity to do that, and really glad that the first episode's been well received, and but again, sustainability. We want to sustain this now. It's momentum's key, and let's keep driving the message forward of hope and aspiration to the audience that's watching, and knowing that anything is possible in life.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you if someone is in like a position of, I guess, authority with like a team or a community, and they want to be inclusive, they want to incorporate and involve like all kinds of people. What do you think is the best way for them to start reaching out and making an effort in that direction to be like that sort of a place for people?
Definitely listening to the community that you're wanting to reach out to. Look at yourself and areas that you want to maybe educate yourself in, and I think that's really important as well, that you're continually educating yourself around inclusion strategies, and we've both, myself and Adele, have both done that, which is fantastic. The opportunity that we've had to really work with people from different minority groups, not just on this project but also over the last like 5 and 10 years, has really helped get a project like this up and running, and that's so important. But communication is very key, and obviously with the disability community, that's not all through the spoken word. It's about getting that communication right, so that you're able to physically interact with those people personally, because everybody is different and has their own different challenges and obstacles, especially within the disability community. So yes, I'm a double leg amputee, but double leg amputees are all different, and that's one of the messages that I definitely advocate towards people that work solely in the disability community, that disabled people are all different, with all different challenges and obstacles. And I think strategies need to be appropriate for that.
Right. So reach out, ask questions, find out what you need to have incorporated already.
Accessibility is key as well. Accessibility, not just physically, but also other areas of accessibility. And be dynamic as you approach as a person, and put yourself in a vulnerable place, like I think me and Adele definitely did with this documentary, and look at the outcome. It's I'm very proud of it, and I know Adele is as well too. So I think that's also a real key point, is when you put yourself in those vulnerable situations, it's a learning situation, that it's enriching. It's something that it's changed not only the people that we've worked with, but also ourselves as well.
I wanted to say really quick, I saw there are a couple of people in chat who were in the Run of the Future. They were part of it. So that's awesome. Thanks for coming to watch the Q&A. Yeah, I asked Adele this question, but Run of the Future 2025. What are some things you would like to, now that you can look back and you've been through the whole process? How long did it take, by the way, like from start to finish, setting up like the whole thing?
Yeah, months and months of it just didn't happen. It was obviously, when we're trying to book a venue like Queen Elizabeth Stadium is a nightmare to try and book in the first place, and then trying to find people like Emily and Abby and Graham is really tough to do that. And having the people that can research all those contributors is really key, and then making sure they fit to the narrative that we're trying to tell was something that myself and Adele were involved in that process. So hence the reason why I say the kind of authentic process as well. Obviously, I went to Tokyo to do the Tokyo Marathon in March, and obviously we're then filming Run to the Future later on in the year. So it was all year really kind of planning, trying to get the funding for the event, but also making sure we're doing it in the right way as well. And as you can see, the outcome was fantastic.
Absolutely. Sorry.
And you're getting involved next year, right?
I'm coming next year.
You're getting involved. Yeah,
I'll do
you're
it.
coming next year, and I want everybody else to as well. I think whatever format it looks like, it's. But one thing that I really hope from this documentary is that you finish the 3rd episode and it really makes you think about yourself, about what things mean to you, as in the people around you, and maybe your own circumstance. Maybe you do need a little bit of help and support. Maybe you need to reach out to people like myself and Adele, and we're open to that. Or organisations in your own community that can help, or that you've got time and you want to volunteer your times to the greater good, because like I say, time's very precious, and we've all kind of had people that were lost due to conditions like cancer, etc. And
Absolutely,
it makes you really realise that when you can put on an event like this, where truly everybody has a transformative experience, it makes you think that's why we do it.
Yeah, 100%. I was gonna ask, what would you like to incorporate into a Run to the Future 2025? Is there anything, like, you worked so hard to have all of these, accessible elements. Looking back, are there things that you would like to have be part of the next one?
Just really going into the community and getting people out of their homes, and people that don't think physical activity is for them, and really transform their lives through physical activity. And whether they've got a disability or not, a lot of people that connect with me are not necessarily people with disabilities. They just see some of the challenges, obstacles that maybe I've had to overcome, or some of the successes that I've had, and relate to those. But definitely getting people to think about themselves, invest in themselves, and for the next one, have that real focus of creating those leaders in those communities that sustain. So those hard to reach communities, having people that come along, that kind of really embrace the ethos of the event, and then go back, take their story back into their community,
right,
and then transform the community for the greater good. And that for me is what this is all about.
Absolutely. Well, I'll send you my training montage. I'll start running.
That's it.
So
Do that.
Yeah.
You need to do that now.
And then I can get one of those cool medals. Is that is that a common thing, or was that pretty unique for everyone to walk away with?
Unique, yeah, unique. Like I said on the VT, that it's the first one that has been officially accredited to have obviously Braille.
Right.
So for us, that was fantastic. Other events have tried it, but it's never been officially accredited. So we're the first for that. But also the medal itself, it makes you smile. It's a very awesome thing to have, and to put that around your neck. It's got a little bit of weight to it. It's shiny. Everybody likes something that's shiny, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And very, very shiny. And there is something special, right, about everybody getting to walk away with one. It's like a connective piece that everybody got to have to be part of it.
But if you look at all the pictures, they're all wonderful. And when me and Adele started the event, we stood on the stage kind of welcoming people, and we said, as well as running, walking, pushing, guiding people from the start to the finish of this 1 mile or 5K race, talk to people that you've never spoke to before. And a lot of people did, and a lot of people got friends for life now, or they've found people that have got the same kind of challenges and obstacles that they have. Right. And that's what's important. Creating those friendships for a lifetime that really do have that impact.
Community makes all the difference.
Community, yeah, and that's what we're trying to build. We're trying to build that inclusive community that has that lasting impact on society. And also obviously future events that's put on in society, we want this to be the blueprint for future events.
Right. You want other people doing events like this to look at what you guys did and be like, okay, we'll incorporate some of that, right?
For sure, and run through who were the event organisers of the event. Actually said that they've learned a lot from the inclusive nature of the event, and their staff found it an incredible experience for themselves, and how runners were kind of all staying behind. So first person that crossed the line stayed behind to watch the last person cross the line, and that's so important that you've got that solidarity within the community. It's not about time. It's not about medals. It's not about your trainers or your GPS unit on your wrist. It's about sharing those moments with the wider community. And yeah, we had people crying coming over the line, and people were like high-fiving each other. It was fantastic. I was mentally shattered at the end because I was high-fiving everybody at the end.
Well, you were just running this. You were running it, right?
and then I finished, and then I high-fived everybody. I was like, I think I should have got a world record for high-fives in one event. I'd have got that for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for chatting with me. You are obviously a very inspirational person. Have crushed a bunch of records, even one this year, correct?
2. Short-changed me there.
2 records this year.
Yeah, short-changed me. Can't believe it. Oh yeah, and I got one of these as well, which Adele's chasing. This is the 6-star medal.
Oh my goodness!
So it's got all the marathons on it. Which way am I going? That's the way.
I had never even heard of this before.
Yeah, so
it sounds like
you can
such
see all
a
the
cool
names
goal.
like Boston, Chicago, London, Tokyo, blah blah blah, Berlin, etc. So that's the 6-star that Adele's chasing at the moment.
Man.
So she's a really good runner, by the way.
She's gonna get it. Yeah.
She undersells herself. She's actually a really good runner. Yeah.
Well, that's
she's
part of
naturally talented.
Right. That's part of what's hard, right? Is there's the you everybody else sees, and there's the you that you see.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
it's the
creating that confidence in yourself, right?
Endless ability. That's right. And PMA, positive mental attitude, for sure.
Well, you kind of have done it this whole time through, but would you like to give everybody a wrapped up, like, here's why I think you should take the time to watch this show, this amazing show that I've made.
It will change your life. That's the blueprint. This is a great blueprint for humanity, and you'll learn a lot about people in the community that maybe you've never had the opportunity to speak to, or and maybe it will give you that connection, give you that wider connection. And when I do a lot of my public speaking, I speak about the disability community and how it is very representative, and if you're not able to communicate with that community, then you're missing out on 1 in 4 people have a disability in the UK, and 1.6 billion people in the world have a disability. So there's a lot of people out there that sometimes do feel isolated, and I think this documentary unlocks people's potential, and that's not only why I advocate watching this documentary, but also I advocate to getting involved in the future and run to the future.
Well,
got them
clearly,
all. Very creative, as I said.
You got it. You crushed it. I mean, the entire time that you and I have been talking, that I talked with Adele, with Abby, like, everyone seems to be very excited to watch it. The people who have watched it felt very inspired by it, really enjoyed, the experience of watching it. So yeah, you guys have made something really special.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time as well.
Richard. Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for your time.
I appreciate it very much. You were fantastic to talk to.
Cheers.
And now it's back to me. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, of course, to Abby and Adele and Richard for coming on. I feel very honored to have been chosen to help host this, and hopefully, any of you who didn't know that this show existed, and now you do know, and you've met these awesome people. It's all on Prime Video. Every episode is like 35 minutes. very munchable, a very munchable show. It's a 3-part docuseries. So I hope that you all take the time to watch it. Thank you so much to Nissan for helping to make the show. I appreciate that I was involved as well. It was cool, wasn't it? It was very, very cool. I was a little nervous at the start, but fortunately, all 3 of them were lovely people to talk to. So it was very easy to settle into it. Literally munchable. Yes. So also thank you so much to the team on the back end. I didn't run any of this. I just hung out and asked questions and talked to cool people and watched a cool show. But there are lovely people behind the curtain that ran the whole thing. So there we go. Oh my gosh, Dare to Defy gave 75 subs. When did that happen? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that. What the heck? 2 minutes ago, Dare to Defy gave out 75 community subs. Goodness gracious, I totally missed that. I'm so sorry. I was too busy spieling. If you were gifted a sub, please take the time to say thank you to Dare to Defy. Thank you so much. Nissan, appreciate that. Oh my goodness. I just managed to catch the end. Well, fortunately for you, if you would like to watch it, this VOD will be available to watch whenever you would like. And again, the show itself, you can watch on Prime Video. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. And to those of you who are gifting subs to our lovely guests, it's also very sweet. Any of you who are part of the race that came by to say hi, like what a cool, just a very cool experience. I'm very glad I got to be part of it. So thank you all so much for watching. What was that, my dude? Okay. That'll be it. That's it for me. Thank you all so much. I know I've said thank you to everybody like 18 times, but thank you again, Richard, Adele, Abby. Appreciate you guys very much for chatting with me about everything under the sun. Check out the show. It's very special, and I had a lovely time watching it. And I mean it. I'll do Run to the Future 2025. I'll start running with my dog. I'm gonna regret that I said that. I'm gonna do it. I'll do it. Remind me. Don't let me get away with it. I'll do Run to the Future 2025. We'll make it happen. Okay. All right. So long, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
People will put you into boxes in life.
True inclusivity is feeling understood. Sport is such a powerful force of bringing people together.
But is it inclusive? No.
Run to the Future is such an amazing idea. A fully, truly inclusive race. It's almost like ripping up sport and starting again.